first. I see evil, I evil when I converse.
Now today say
this how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns.
go, 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 go.
Set it off. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it off. You living boring, I'm gonna set it off. Shooting, I'm scoring, I'm gonna set it off. Like soldiers torn, I'm gonna set it off. Son of God, no, I am not son of man. Blessings keep falling, the fingers keep coming in. I got you, but just know I'm texting like Uncle Sam. Left to the bank, you know that I'm coming in. We don't do it for the bands though, we don't do it for the clout. Legacy on the line, so I'm moving in and out. Seen good ones turn top dog, greedy ones get knocked off. I keep looking at the bench like I could never not ball. Coach keep me in the game, Curry deadly with the range. I keep looking in the mirror like, who is he? I'm insane. Who am I? He insane. Guess I ain't the one to blame. What's done is done, won't change. Time to live up to my name. Real will be real, fake gon' fall. Took time with this here, I'm made for a while. No sleeping, no, I won't fall. No sleeping, no, I won't it all. I keep God first. I see evil, I evil when I converse.
Now today say
this how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns.
go, 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 go.
Set it off. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it off. You living boring, I'm gonna set it off. Shooting, I'm scoring, I'm gonna set it off. Like soldiers torn, I'm gonna set it off. Told my baby, meet me at the bank. Told my mama, I'ma break the trend. Locked in, I'ma change the weight. Working for him, baby's kids. Hard times couldn't make the rent. Working hard, couldn't save a cent. Lonely nights, just me and God. Swear to him, always made the ends. Grab a paper, see the news. Hate coming by the tools. Walk a mile in my shoes. Something you can never do. Got my back against the wall. Bet I always pull through. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Sending shots, I block 'em. Superman with the moves. Rock 'em, sock 'em, drop, bop 'em. Play to win, never lose. Run it up, I top 'em. Plate full, belly too. I hip hop or pop 'em. Anything I could do. The real won't be real, fake gon' fall. Took time with this here, I'm made for a while. No sleeping, no, I won't fall. No sleeping, no, I won't it all. I keep God first. I see evil, I evil when I converse.
Now today say
this how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns.
go, 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 go.
Set it off. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it off. You living boring, I'm gonna set it off. Shooting, I'm scoring, I'm gonna set it off. Like soldiers torn, I'm gonna set it off.
I can hurt you like you hurt me too, me too. We're letting go, drifting apart. We're letting go, drifting apart. I can hurt you like you hurt me too, me too. We're letting go, drifting apart. We're letting go, drifting apart. hurt me too, me too. We're letting go, we're letting go, we're I can hurt you like you hurt me too, me too. We're letting go, we're letting go, we're
Another week, another beautiful Monday afternoon. Thank you for joining me. My name is Jonathan, and this is On the Mat, where we come and we hang out with you guys on your way back from work, getting started your new week. Monday's usually the hardest day. Getting back into the swing of things, unless you really, really love your job, and in which case you're happy to be at work. Sorry, I'm just distracted because my kids are crying in the background there. I was looking at the post that we made earlier today, and yeah, a lot of comments on it. There are people that are saying that the alternative. So I made a post just asking because one of the questions I've always had is why can't we separate our money into smaller sub accounts within our main bank account? So in Canada and the US, I assume in Australia and New Zealand, your bank account is not an account as much as it is a membership. And so I found it just easier to use that word, I guess, because if you were to have a membership with a bank, say, like most of us do, whatever bank you bank with, and then inside that membership you have multiple accounts. But in Fiji, your bank membership is simply an account, and you can only have one. And if you want to have another account, you have to open a whole new separate account that would have, like, say with your internet bank, it would have a different login and everything. But with my bank in Canada, the app, or when I log in to the website, it's my name, and then I can open up to like 30 or 40 different smaller savings accounts, just like that. Just open new account, and it's just basically just split your money up, so that, or it opens up another opportunity, or another basically bucket for you to drop your money into. And I'd take that wording from the guys at Sole. That's another comment a lot of people are saying is, what, isn't Sole already doing the same thing? And so I guess they are. I just feel like the rollout for Sole has been quite slow. And I don't really know much, like, are they actually going full speed? Or I don't totally understand how their gig works. Like, where do I take my cash and put it into my Sole account? Like, do I have to take it to the bank and then transfer it to Sole? That's the one thing that I've always been confused of with the Sole app. So SOLE, if you guys are looking for it online, sole-fintech.com. And they have an app, and I think their whole thing is like, is this, like being able to have different things that you can save money in. And like everybody, one of their, I've seen Semi present a couple times, and I still haven't understood this whole thing, but Semi Tukana, and he's talked about these buckets and dropping money into these different buckets. So you can have, like, you know, one for tithe, one. So like, say you get paid $500, okay, and then you want 10% to go to tithe. So you just take $50 out of that big lump sum that came in right away and just drop it into your tithing account. Then you take, say, 20% of that, or so $100, and you put that into savings, and then you'd have $350 left, and you could use that for bills and car payments or whatever. But the problem is with all the banks right now, the big banks, I don't understand why. It's got to be a Reserve Bank of Fiji thing, is like we put our money into our bank account and there's nowhere for it to go other than for it to just sit in this one account. So like, what happens if I get paid $5,000 and I want to pay 20% for a commission? I want to set that aside. I want to put 20% aside for taxes, and then I will spend 50% and I'll just leave 10% for, you know, the company's profit for, you know, buying new equipment or whatever, something like that. Well, like, I have no way to like just divvy that money up. Like, it's straight into the account, and I can never, everything's just in one account. I can't separate it out. Like, it's just, I know it's very frustrating because the basics of budgeting are that you could allocate a certain amount of money whenever you want to certain things. But like, if you just have a big bucket full of money, you have no idea like where it came from, like what percentage of it is not, like, I shouldn't be using a certain amount. Like right now in my head, I can just remember that I have $100 off of the last thing that I was paid for that I need to tithe, and plus I've gotten 3 new payments in the last few weeks that I still need to tithe from. So I have to remember that I have 100 still in that big lump sum that I cannot spend, and then make sure that the next 3 payments, of 2 of which I've been paid for, I need to just set that money. It's just like, it's impossible. It's impossible to budget. And like everybody, like they're like, oh, go, you know, cashless and all this kind of stuff. It's like, the thing with cash is like, I can actually take cash, $100, and I can just take money and like put it under my bed, or I can hang it in a bag somewhere. You know, like you can actually physically handle cash and separate it out. So it's like the only thing that's left for us to do with the options that the bank has given us is to actually withdraw all of our money and separate it into jars or buckets or whatever, like physical file folders or something that are in your room. Like, I don't, what do you do?
Like for savings,
Yeah.
I just keep it in the saving account.
But are you able to move it out of the account it comes into in a different account to save? No, you just, yeah. But like if you took 20% of the money that you had, or say whatever, 10% that you want to save, you could put into account, you just like, I'm never touching that. You know, like you would know, like, that's just not for me even. That's to be saved for like, if my kid needs like a medical emergency fund or, you know, something like that, right? And so it's like, I just don't. What are you using that for, Licky? Okay, it's not very sharp, so be careful. Yeah, it's just there's no hope with this banking system, in my opinion.
just easier if they do it all for us, right?
Well,
Maybe
yeah,
if
like I mean, just so that we could have the option to be able to open a separate account, and it's just like open it as a checking account. Or the thing isn't
But no one's really explaining why it's not.
able to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's maybe because like the people just didn't know that that option exists.
The banks?
Yeah, but like that, it's like a thing that exists in the world. I mean, but like in Fiji, it's like a checking account is a literal account that you have checks for, and a savings account is just like, I guess, like an account that you don't have checks for. But like in Canada, like they're pretty much interchangeable. Like what I think the Reserve Bank of Canada, your main account is a checking account, like your personal, and all the accounts, the sub accounts you open are savings accounts. So I think we need to be able to, if we want to open more checking accounts, we have to go through like an application process. But the savings accounts, you can just open as many as you want. And so it's just like, I don't know. Maybe it's not in the bank's interest to help us be wise with our money, because if we spend more of it, then they get more of it. I don't know. But yeah, I wish Sole would, I guess, make themselves more known. Or do you hear much about Sole?
No.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just like,
When it first came out, there's a lot of like news around it.
okay. Was it on the news and stuff like that?
Yeah, news.
I saw Dan Fiji talking about it a couple
Dan
times.
Fiji was promoting it. But that was what, 2 years ago?
Yeah. But it's gone quiet to the point where it's like, should I even put my money in it? Because like I don't know, is it just gonna like get stuck there?
I think they still like promoting it around it. They are, because it's an early like app and for people to get to adapt it. You know, it'll take a while, but there's a lot. I think there's a lot of consultation and awareness, promoting it in the Fijian communities around. Aren't they doing it in New Zealand or in
Sole?
yeah?
Well, I think they're doing it in some other Pacific islands. So
I think in Australia too, like within the Fijian communities.
deposit and withdraw easily with any authorized Sole agent or commercial bank, both locally and abroad. So yeah, I think what happens, if I remember this correctly, in a meeting with Semi, I think you take your money to your bank, and then you make Sole is its own fintech, I guess, so financial technology. So what that stands for. So they are their own bank, as they've been registered with the Reserve Bank of Fiji. So I think you actually take money and you make like a account, like when you pay somebody else with a different bank account, like you would transfer it to another bank. I should see. I'll just sign into my Westpac right now. Sign in. Here we go. So if I go to pay others,
Pay others and you put their
new. Well, I don't know. Like I don't know if, because then I'll need a BSB, a bank name, ANZ, BOB, which is Bank of Baroda, BSP, HFC, Westpac. There's no S here. HFC, HVW. It doesn't. There's no Sole. Like, so when I move money out of my Westpac account, I need a BSB number.
Right.
Or be able to select the bank, which the person that I'm transferring the money to, like what bank it is. Like, is it BSP in Centerpoint? Is it HFC in Suva? Is it the HFC in Nandi, you know? But I don't know how I would move that to a Sole account.
Bula Emily. Hey, Bulare. Bulare Waka family from the Wakambos in Tukavesi.
Bula.
Lore. Oh, this is Emily.
Thank you for
Mulata.
joining. Huh?
She came with husband.
To the coffee shop?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
they're from the States. They used to live there, I think.
Thank you guys for joining. We're just trying to figure out right now how to use Sole.
Boleh sisa.
Sign up now. Should we just sign up and then I can just see how it goes?
I don't know.
Middle name?
While
do
you're
you
doing
need?
that,
Birthday. I was born. My birthday's coming up, guys. Just so you know.
when's
If
your
anybody
birthday?
wants to send me presents or anything,
When's your
birthday is coming up.
Really?
February 23rd, 1992.
Saudi. I'm like thinking, wait, I gave you a
Yeah,
birthday
yeah.
present.
I know.
Where
I
was
know.
that? Was that last year already?
So sweet. 314. 3. I just got my verification code. I'm signing up for this so I can explain it to you guys on the go. Should be getting paid for this.
Ooh.
Huh? So sweet. There we go. This is super exciting for everybody. Yeah, I'm good. Almost there. Your login is all set up. We've sent an email to your inbox. Confirm it. So I gotta go and confirm this bad boy now. Also, are you excited to go to Suva?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Mm.
Me too.
And just yeah, maybe meet
What's that?
people, I guess. Not so much, but like people that I know. My family mostly.
What?
No, like going meeting them.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
No, because of the busy traffic. Running.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't been to Suva for a long time. It's busy though, eh?
Yeah, I've been in Suva. Was it last month? Yeah, last month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just wanted to come
Come back. Yeah. eh?
Like 2 days or 3 days is okay, but like a week,
Well, it's gonna be long, eh?
you just like wanna get out of that place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like once you're done doing everything, you don't know what to do next, right? And then you have all those things like the nightlife that either you just stay home or you just wanna go and spend money and eat and
Yeah.
which is not a luxury I have at the moment because I'm saving up for Geneva.
Yeah. Right.
And so yeah, I guess
Yeah, whatever. We can lay low. We're not gonna be doing anything. Just meetings and back home, I guess.
back home.
It needs to be 1 week of air conditioning. That's one way to look at it.
Okay, yeah, that
Right?
right.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, working in the aircon.
Pretty much we'll just be going to a few meetings, like one meeting every day. And then the rest of it will just be sitting in aircon, I guess.
Right,
So,
right.
could be worse.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because it's been bad here lately. Very hot.
dude.
Super hot.
I've been like sitting at the corridor a few times now.
Crying.
Sweating.
Yeah, I know, eh? It's just brutal, man.
Yeah.
Brutal.
I think the Suva weather is a bit gloomy. So
Is it?
Yeah.
Maybe just
Lots
a
of
bit
rain.
cooler.
Rain, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm waiting for
Someone
this.
saying, yeah, maybe we don't have the tech for it yet.
Yeah, oh, with the bank stuff? Yeah, but that's BS, man. ANZ, Westpac?
Yeah, those are big banks, right?
Yeah, come on, right? Like,
Why don't we have it?
it feels like it should be something that is definitely offered.
You logging in?
Um,
You downloaded the app?
no, I was logging in online,
Oh.
but the account activation email is supposed to be coming through.
Right.
Um,
So you deposit to Sole.
yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to.
So how do you put in your bank details and then you deposit it to them? So it's like you're just transferring the money back to Sole, and then you
Yeah, and then you
transfer
can like
yeah
put it into separate
those
accounts.
accounts.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna try it out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it out.
Mm.
Now that we're talking about this.
Mm.
Yeah. It could be useful.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, let's ask whoever's watching. Like, has anybody or use Sole using it right now, or you have friends or families that are using it and
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
shared it with you?
Good question. Does anybody on that side or whatever side you're living in from, do any of you guys use Sole? Let us know. Let us know, because there's got to be a better way, man. So, you have your Vanuatu set to become a tourism hub.
Yep.
Significant progress is underway through the Navuliku Fiji Tourism Development Program aimed at transforming Vanuatu into a thriving tourism hub. Starting next month, an integrated tourism master plan will guide this development by identifying priority areas, outlining funding strategies, and including environmental and social safeguards. Deputy Prime Minister says a proposal will be made this month with the Natural Trust, local communities, and the private sector to build a visitor center and create business plans. Okay. He adds that under the program, a contract will be awarded next month for the design and supervision of payments, fencing, a new terminal at Suva, and new fire stations at both airports. We're in the process of procuring remote travel and automatic flight information systems for Mombasa and Suva airports. Looking for future growth. Okay. Air connectivity. The Navuliku program will launch a medium-small MSME pilot program in October to support small community and women-owned tourism businesses. Additionally, an updated international visitor survey will begin this month to improve data collection and visitor feedback for business and the government. So, it's good. It's good. All right? I think it's great. The problem is we're a small country that doesn't have much money. So we rely on big countries that have more money than us to do these kinds of things. Now, I might get canceled for this, and like, trust me, like, whatever. If you want to cancel me, then whatever, because what we do actually is different than whatever you want to. If you were wanting to say anything about us when it comes to women in business, like our business in Canada, we employ only women. Our coffee shop here in Vanuatu, we employ only women. But because we get funding from woke governments and different organizations that have certain parameters and goals that they need to target, when the focus of funding immediately goes to small community and women-owned tourism businesses, like, a lot of industry was not built on the backs of women. It was built on the backs of men. And so when we're talking about starting something from the ground up, we need to be very careful about starting with like equal, like equality of outcome rather than equality of opportunity. And I think that the best thing for us is not to focus on, are you a man or a woman? Is it a community or a business or like a wealthy investor? It should be like, is it a good idea or is it a bad idea? And make sure that it doesn't harm the community, that it doesn't harm the environment, that women are able to apply for jobs within this business. And if they are better candidates than men, then they get the job. But as soon as we
Limit.
like the joke is that we think like we can, like America and all these Western nations, they have the luxury of being able to do all this woke stuff now that they've reached that point. That's not how they started. They're not at the point where their GDP is what it is because they started with equality of outcome. It was best idea wins, and that's what built Western civilization to what it is today, aka a lot of the things that we want in Fiji: better airports, better roads, better healthcare, better education. Well, that didn't happen in other countries starting with equality of outcome. It was best idea wins. Best idea makes all the other ideas bring up their game or lose. And so I'm just always get worried when it's like big banks, big countries come in and give us their money and they say, you have to do things this way. Otherwise we won't give you your money or give you our money. And it's like, okay, we can do it and it'll probably be better than it would be not having it. But don't think that that's the way that they did it. They get to call the shots because they're giving you the money, and now they're able to be woke because hard men make for easy times make for soft men. And now they're in states of soft men and going into hard times. So we are at the mercy of people who are giving us the money. And so I think it's good. We hire women, we employ women in many of our businesses, but I think it should be, if it's coming to this Nabu Liku program and funding things in Vanuatu, it should be best idea wins. And I think you guys would be surprised at how many women have better ideas than men. But if we just focused on like, it has to be 50-50 men and women. It's like, what if it's not? Maybe what if it's 80-50 women? What if it's 80% women and 50% men? What if it's 80% men and 50% women, but like everybody's winning? Like, it just seems like a very silly way because that's not how they build their economies. But that's how we're going to have to build ours.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh, free money. It's like, yeah, well, it's not really free money because we're expected to do things in a way that nobody else has had to do it through the years.
Takisar.
Taki. It's funny, I'm working on a project in Bua. We're building a road, and the mechanic of the company just messaged me. They're like, we're just wondering, do you still have the 400 liters of diesel? I'm like, yeah.
We used it.
Yeah, right. Well, I talked to the driver today. I'm like, I have your 400 liters here that I filled in some Suva. Do you want me to bring it all the way to the mountain or drop it at home? And then the mechanic now is messaging me. I'm like, dude. Yeah, I've been plowing in my tractor for the last few days. It came in handy. I don't know how much is left, but... Anyways, what do you guys think about that? I know that's a bit of like an off left field kind of rant, but that's just how I feel about it. We don't employ women at our coffee shop because we want to employ women. We employ women at our coffee shop because they're the best candidates. We've had other people working. We've had other men working there. But they're the best ones who do the best job, who are honest, who we can trust with the money and with our customers, you guys who come in. So they're the ones working. We're not like we need women in this business. No, it's just that's the way it turned out. So if we start from like we need to only have women working here, it's like then you're not always going to have the best people.
What's a new saying that you've heard this week or last week?
A new saying?
Yeah.
A new saying. Is somebody asking? You're asking.
I am asking.
You're asking. A donkey doesn't get to call himself a lion just because he thinks he's a lion. What is it? How does it go? Because little does he know he's still an ass.
Yes, yeah.
Something.
Wait, something like
This
that.
is from-
This
This is from the man in the paragraph that we went to visit the other day. He's a very smart man, and he's very wise, and he. From the paragraphs, he's controlled a lot of things, or has been had a hand in giving a lot of his time to things in Fiji from the paragraphs. And Gassi wrote it down, right?
Yeah, Gassi wrote it down.
Yeah, I should
Gassi.
just call. I'll call him right now.
Yeah. Gas was like, oh,
Gassi, I love that one.
let me write this one down.
Call failed. What does it mean when your call just fails like that?
I don't know.
Fiji has so many different things. Like sometimes like doot doot doot. Sometimes it goes diverted. If not, Gus is watching this live right now. He's like, shoot, I don't want to answer this call. Oh, here he is. Here he is. Gase.
Hello.
Gase. Gase. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she'd probably be answering the phone. And she's like, oh no, she's like declining.
Oh,
the
yeah.
call.
Oh, the kid is on it. We're getting the quote of the week, okay, guys? Quote of the week is coming because my cousin wrote it down. Cousin brother. Oh, yada, dile.
What?
Hey.
What is it?
Kamiota. Hibi. Ha? Pakai kabi?
Hello.
Oi, gase.
Tani mula.
Bula. Hey, I'm on the live stream right now, and I've got you mic'd into the live stream because we're trying to figure out what is the saying that the man in the paragraphs about the lion and the donkey. You wrote it down, right?
Yeah.
Can you give it to me?
A donkey thinks he's a lion when he has too much attention. In fact, he is an ass.
Okay. A donkey thinks he's a lion when he has too much attention, but in fact, he's still an ass. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, mother.
You're welcome.
Okay, Laila.
Okay.
There you go. A donkey thinks he's a lion when he gets too much attention, but in fact, he's still an ass.
Still a nice.
Yeah. That is the saying from last week. Very good saying. Very good saying. And I want to bring that gentleman to do a live or a podcast there, but he's hesitant.
Yeah. Well, one day
One day,
we'll bring him in.
maybe we should.
We'll take it there.
Okay, and so or we can take it there, yeah, just for podcast, right? The Starlink live stream.
Can do it.
Here's one that I came across a couple weeks ago. You cannot raise your kids the way your parents raised you, because your parents raised you for a world that no longer exists.
Say it again.
You cannot raise your children the way your parents raised you, because your parents raised you for a world that no longer exists. So it's kind of a word for us and a word for grandparents, because people will think like that's not how you raise kids, and it's like, well, our kids cannot be raised the same way that you raised us, because that world is not real anymore. I cannot, like in Canada, I can't go buy my first home for $30,000. Like homes start at 300,000 now. Like, you know, the kids don't play outside anymore. We have iPads and all this kind of electronics and video games and all this kind of stuff. And so the way that I parent my kids will be different so that I can counteract these kinds of things. The world that you guys raised me for is not the world I'm raising my kids for. I wish it was, but it's just not the case, you know?
Yeah, that rings so true.
Yeah. Because you'll get advice from old people, and, you know, there's some things that will stand true, like, for sure.
Yeah.
But there's some things that are just like, that's not the way it works anymore.
Yeah.
And I wish, like, not because I want it to be different, just because it is different, unfortunately.
Yes. And it's a cycle, right? Like, my dad's parents be telling them, you know, how to raise the kids from
Yeah.
that time. And I've heard it from my grandparents, and I heard it from my dad. And it's like, it doesn't make sense now, like when we raise our kids now.
Right.
Some things, like you said, some things ring true.
Yeah.
Like we still hold, and there's just some things that it doesn't, and you have to adapt on how to raise your
Yeah.
kids.
I think that's the big struggle for a lot of people in Fiji, is like trying to figure out that balance, you know, with culture and what we do. You know, or like how the lack of culture being passed down, the lack of that kind of thing being given to the next generation. I think it's just yeah, like there's some things, like for instance, my grandma here, you know, once in a while when she's in, you know, sometimes she gets in a mood, like I get in moods, like you get in moods, you know, for correcting people. And like, you know, all of a sudden, like one of the girls from one of the houses here will bring in, or just like run in the front door, or like bring in food to this front door behind us on the veranda here. And then she'll get pretty upset. She's like, this is not your door. This door is for like
Head of
Jonathan, for Jonah, for the men of the house. If you want to come into the house, you go through the kitchen door.
Back door.
Yeah. And so that's something that is, you know, that's pretty public knowledge. Like that doesn't really surprise any of us. But I think a lot of these girls are just like, well, why? Like,
They don't know.
why? Like my parents didn't teach me that. And they just don't know. Like, and so I think it's like so what are the things that, like, why is that important? I think is the more important part about the thing. Is like, well, traditionally we didn't do that because of, I think that would bring a lot more interest to people. You know, like, don't do that. That is for these people. It's not for you. If you want to come in, you come through that way. It's like, okay, like,
Why?
but why? You know, as a kid, you're just like, why? I bet you there's a really cool why behind it. I bet you I bet you there's like a story from, like, if you could actually get to the source of it, you know, something to do with why the food didn't come in there, why the men only came in that door, why, you know? I bet you there's some really cool tradition behind it. But that part doesn't get taught. It's just like, you're in trouble and you should know better. And so, yeah, and like a lot of us aren't concerned about teaching these things to our kids anymore. Especially those of us who, you know, don't grow up here. Like,
And
raised in the
kids
city,
now,
or, you know, raising them in the, you know, a place that's not the village. And then it's like, you get afraid to take your kids home because it's like, or back to the village, because you're like, man, even I won't know what they're supposed to do. You don't know how to debrief your kids, or like, or do proper like cultural orientation for your kids. Like, you know, it gets very embarrassing, I think, pretty quickly. Yeah.
I love that. Well, for me today, it was I was going through reels, and I saw this guy post like dogs reels. His dog Viola, Viola Snow on Instagram, and then he said this line: "Money is only a problem if the value is missing."
If the value is missing? Oh. Money is only a problem if the value is missing. What do you take that as saying?
It's just like because the other saying like money is the root of all
Right, yeah.
problems.
Yeah.
And the way he says this is like, oh yeah, it does. If you don't have like a good value for it, then it can become a problem
Yeah,
in your life because you don't have a value to that. You know, sometimes when you get like huge sum of money, okay, I would me if we get like more than $1,000 or something like that, I just want to spend it.
Right,
You know?
yeah,
You think
yeah.
you have so much money and you get to spend, and all of a sudden, like, whoa,
it's gone.
it's gone.
Yeah, for sure.
But when you have some, like, a value and you invest in it or you give in it, you feel like, oh, it's worth it.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
worth it. Even though that you lose a little, but, like, you know that you have something that you're supporting or you're investing back to, and it's worth it.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's very true. Yeah, money's so, it just comes and goes, eh? No matter what you do, no matter how hard you try to hold on to it. And it's just a tool, like, it's not meant to be kept.
Yep.
I think. So, like, the idea of, like, having lots of it just for the sake of being or feeling rich is, like, rich people don't ever feel, like, safe. They just, their lives might get more comfortable, but, like, they still struggle with all the same things you and I struggle with. It's just, like, on a different level. Like, where me going to, like, GPH and Suva or something like that, that's, like, well, that's so nice. Like, fancy, like, I don't really need anything more than that. But, like, if you become really successful, you'd be like, GPH is, like, kind of, like, it's the only option, but, like, I wouldn't, it's not, like, crazy nice. And, like, I can see, because I've stayed in nice places, but, like, I can see how, because I've talked to people, they're like, GPH, like, it's okay. And I'm like, dude, it's very nice. Like, what are you talking about? But I can see how that, because I've stayed in nice places. So I'm like, and so money just becomes, you just end up spending more of it and risking more of it the richer you get. And, like, yeah, your value still needs to be in things that are, like, actually matter, like your kids and your wife.
Yeah, I got a comment here. If we teach our children the same things we were taught, we are trapping them in a past that can't guide them forward.
Yeah,
Nice one.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, because, like, that world, yeah, like, the world doesn't exist anymore. The world that my parents raised me for, it doesn't exist. But there are definitely things that we can pass on to them, like values, like, good work ethic,
Yeah.
honesty, loyalty, like that kind of stuff. It stands the test of time, obviously.
Thank you to everybody who's joining in. Thank you, Metusela. Love your content, bro. Family looks like they are really soaking it all in. Yeah.
Yeah. But we're soaking it in, all right.
Okay, this is from Jay. Considering the fact that some of us grew up in an era where kids were just seen and not heard, times have changed. Be open to letting our children teach us.
Yeah, I think for sure. There's a scene that I'm always reminded of I think I've talked about it before with Tuyul, maybe remember it, but because I often bring up the same thing more than once. But there's a movie, The Gods Must Be Crazy, and there's a Coke bottle that gets thrown out of an airplane, and they're, like, throwing this Coke bottle, like, up in the air and, like blowing over it, making it. sound and like going crazy, and then one of them throws up in the air and hits a kid on the head or something like that, and the kid starts crying. And the quote goes something like, but they don't let children cry because that's not beneficial to the community, or something like this. And so I think like you just have to look at what was important to us Fijians, in the past, and I think that tells us a lot about the reason why we did the things we did, like, and the reason why we do the things we do, up until this day. Like, I think kids just being around and being raised, is like, you want somebody to carry on your torch, your family name, like your bloodline. You want people to be able to help you, around the house and in the home and do the heavy lifting. And so a lot of times that's why you had kids. It wasn't because like you had this deep desire to foster children and to, teach them, different, like these different character traits, like loyalty or trust, or, these kinds of things. Like, you had kids because it was maybe a bit more of a primal thing. And so I think now, we're not having kids for those reasons. I think a lot of times if you didn't have kids in, these different cultures, like or didn't have boys or didn't have girls, like you would be considered, people would think certain things about you or judge you in a certain way. And so I think that a lot of the things that we used to do were for the benefit of the community, not for the benefit of any one person or any one people group. I think it was like that. I mean, that's why I always say, like, people always say, like, Fijians, we're always pulling ourselves down, like if somebody goes up, then we pull them down. And I think it's because traditionally, like, one of us getting ahead and like being successful didn't benefit the community. Like, it was, we were led by our chiefs, and everything is like top-down structure from them, right? And so if somebody who's, part of this, clan that's not very, high up there or whatever, like, know your place. Like, everything you do is for the health of the community, not for your own benefit. And so for you rising up, like, I think that's where a lot of that stems from for Fijian people. Is like, you getting way ahead of us doesn't help us out a lot, or doesn't help us out at all. And so, for me to be here in the village, now 5 years in, realizing this like ages and ages ago, like, oh, this is like not the right move to make if you want to bring your family up and provide opportunities. Like, don't do what we're doing, in the way that we did it in the beginning. Like, expect to be able to like hire all your family members, like they'll be happy to work for you and all this kind of stuff. No, like, you're probably gonna have to build the thing with just the best people, like we were talking about with equal opportunity. Like, probably don't just look to hire your family, look to just hire the best people, build a successful business, and then if your family wants work, then they can come and join with a successful thing. I think we're getting to that now. Like, there's a couple of my family members that work with us, and that's exciting for me to see, but like, it didn't start that way. But it's, slowly coming around. But like, for you to start, like, your mission should be to start something successful so that you can employ people long term. And so, yeah, that's a bit of a rant, but going back to what we were talking about with kids, yeah, I think things have changed, and I think we all see that when we go to like the functions and stuff, the kids are just like left to the side,
Right.
to be, fend for themselves. And like, even when you do a birthday party, it's like, so, like barbecue, and then all the parents just grog, and then the kids are just left to do whatever they usually do at functions. And it's like, dude, it's not about the kid. Like, we're not trying to make this kid have a great time. It's like, we're gonna do the birthday cake, we're gonna have a big feast with all the same ingredients and all the same exact dishes that we have at every other feast. When all the kid probably wanted was like chicken and chips and heaps of cake. And it's like, like that probably would have been, or pizza or something, right? And it's just like, same thing, then the parents will go grog, and then kids are just like, they'll fall asleep eventually on the floor after the sugar high is over. And so I think there's definitely a big focus switch to like for parents to like focus on their kids, and I think that's a good thing. Yeah, because time is changing. Yeah.
Good, man. Got a question here from Pete. You know any kava farm in your island? Like people who's, I think he's asking if people who's exporting or
Exporting.
big kava farmers.
Yeah, I mean, I think 70% of Fiji's kava comes from this island, so there's heaps, heaps and heaps and heaps. Just depends what you're looking for. Like the guys who do the farming are never the guys who get rich. It's always the middlemen who do the buying and the selling, because it doesn't take 3 years to buy and sell something. So you're a lot better off making 50%, 3 times as much than you are making 100%, 1/3 of the time. What I mean by that is like, okay, like a guy who's planting might sell his grog plant for $500, right? But the Indian guy might sell it, but that took him 3 years. But the Indian guy or the middleman guy who buys it from him might sell it for $800. So he only makes like $300, but like that $300 he can make it in like 2 weeks or a week or a few days. He doesn't have to wait 3 years. So all he has to do is just volume. It's just a volume game for middlemen. But for farmers, it's like sweat, blood, and many, many hours of labor. And you get a big paycheck, but then you got to wait a long, long time to get it again. So I think the side you actually want to, or like the area of that game you want to play in is in the brokerage, which is in the middleman part of the kava business, not in the planting or the actual selling, but in the obtaining and connecting people to the products.
Right.
Like the guys in the market, yeah, they're the money makers. Because they have a market where people come to buy, and the people who sell come to them. So you just sit, you literally sit in the middle, and everybody will just come. It's ideal.
One of those headlines.
Yeah. So, scattering of ashes is not littering. So the practice of scattering human ashes into the sea is not classified under the current law, classified as litter. While I said there was no regulation specifically prohibiting the scattering of ashes, the government was considering how best to address any potential environmental impact. I'm just going to say right now, kill all of us on all the islands and burn us all and throw us into the sea, and it probably wouldn't even touch the amount of trash that gets thrown out of our buses around Fiji, like in a month. Like, I think this is what I'm trying to say is not to consider, mass genocide, but just like maybe this is not a big problem actually. Like we need to figure out the actual littering problem that we have in Fiji. I did see someone throw out roti plastic the other day while we were driving.
Oh yeah.
No comment, but as we are currently working with religious organizations to explore alternative ways of handling ashes. He raised the issue after residents of Ndraketi complained of ashes and bones found in their traditional fishing grounds. Whatever. Just attracts the fish. I don't know. Maybe it's just creepy if you find a skull while you're diving.
Well, if it's ashes, then...
Well, I think it's probably like, Buddy from the village is down there on, Friday night ready to, make 20 bundles of fish for Saturday morning and, take to the market in Ndraketi, and then he's like, shine his flashlight and he sees like a skull. You'd be pretty freaked out at night, eh? You're like...
You start singing hymns.
Oh yeah, for sure. Ooh, back in the boat. You'd be done.
Hello, Steve.
Yeah.
Oh, this is my friend.
Yeah. Exactly. I guarantee you, but I wouldn't even be surprised if that's what happened. Somebody was diving at night, because that's what most people do in this area, and they shone the flashlight and they saw some human remains dumped, and then they came and complained, and now this article is.
Or maybe they're just thinking like, you know, maybe because the fish will eat it. Do
Yeah.
they really? Because it dissolves in the water, but it goes in the system, and then we're fishing it, and then it comes back around.
Like the human flesh or
Yeah.
something. But we're talking
Well,
about burning
ash, yeah,
ashes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but whatever. Ashes. Yeah. Who cares? Does it bother you?
I don't know.
No. It's like, it's like pissing in the ocean. It's like nobody will realize it. Like it doesn't. I don't know. It's such a small little amount. Like there's way worse things that get dumped into our rivers than human remains, right?
Right.
Like, trust me, our river gets used as a toilet a lot when there's functions here.
Oh, yeah,
Like I've been down there bathing when a guy runs down in his Sulu, like I gotta take a crap, and then just like goes down there and just like squats, on top of the water. It's like, well, that upsets me, like that upsets me more than ashes. Just like pooing in the river that I'm currently bathing in,
Yeah.
like that. But you get used to, as they say. You get used to. The Online Safety Commission has received a complaint regarding a video currently circulating on social media which allegedly shows a senior government official involved in an altercation at a local nightclub.
Yeah.
Who was it?
This is the acting commissioner for the corrections. And he was still in uniform, like there was shirt.
No, he
with a
wasn't.
Badge, and like he was beating up that guy.
What?
Yeah. Like he was, I think, just came out straight from work and went out clubbing with a few other men that they work together. They're all wearing the same uniform too. And he just starts, I don't know how it started, but the video shows like he was just like beating this guy up and he's bleeding, and the bouncers was trying to hold him back, and he turns around and hangs one of the bouncers. And like they didn't want to like touch him because they know of his status, I think.
Oh my gosh, you serious?
Yeah, that's
Wow.
crazy, man.
What a loser, man.
Uh,
Why can't they just say his name? Embarrass him.
Yeah. Wait. I think I'll show you.
The
Oh,
video?
Yeah. Fiji Times put up the video of
On the
Fiji
Facebook?
Village. On Instagram.
Whoa.
Yeah. It was crazy, man. Oh, here. I'll
Airdrop it to me.
Yeah.
Wow. So guy from the wardens.
I'll just put it on your WhatsApp,
Yeah, sure.
the link.
What a loser, man. What a loser. There we go. Ina. Dude.
Yeah.
Is that guy in the white?
Yeah, the guy in the white.
Dude, he's too old to be clubbing though, hey?
Yeah.
How about you don't go clubbing?
Yeah, acting corrections commissioner. Yeah.
Well, that guy should be out of a job. Is he intoxicated?
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. You don't get to assault people like that either.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care who you are. Yeah. You're done, baby. You're done.
I'm wearing a uniform.
Yeah. You're out of here. You're out of here. In my business, you're out of here.
How's the game on Saturday?
Yeah, after going hard in the paint on them. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, I mean, it was great just to see them win. It was fun. It was fun.
It was a good game.
I think I like the combination of our fly half with
Kitchen,
what's this?
fly half.
Yeah.
What is it?
Um, oh, Valentini. I love the combination of Valentini and Armstrong Ravula. I thought,
Wow.
yeah, I just thought Ravula was coming into the line at really good times, and like maybe it's just me, but I can get picky when I start watching games. Like when I start watching for like things that could be done differently or done better or something like that.
Right.
And one of the things that was frustrating me was, and maybe that's just not the way they wanted to play against
Red.
the Reds, but maybe for whatever reason, and I don't know, but we just were not hitting the ball with any sort of line speed, and I didn't understand why. And the times that we'd usually get them on the back foot, and it's like Ikan or somebody like that, or Armstrong Ravula. But the times when there was just so much, with our forward pods setting up, to the sides, either sides of the ruck, and then, scrum half distributing the ball to just big dudes standing still. And I don't know if we were tired or what. It was, but I mean, obviously it was a great game, and I'm an idiot, and I shouldn't be commenting on this stuff, and I acknowledge that. And I'm not a coach, and never was a professional athlete, so take it for what it is. But just as a dude who used to play some rugby, it's just like nonstop camera shots of like just, there are two forward pods just like sitting there waiting for the ball, and yeah, I was just, when I was playing rugby, it was like, you're not getting the ball unless you're moving. That was just like what I thought was true. So you'd start a little ways back and you'd hit the ball with some speed.
Yeah.
Because like the defensive line is not focusing on catching a ball and then making meters. They're just like, once that ball's out of the ruck, they're gone. But you're like waiting for that ball, focusing on it, how to hold it, so that when you go into the tackle, that you can present the ball well, so that you guys can win back the ball. It's like there's just not enough time. You have to hit the ball with speed,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But maybe that's just something we decided not to do for some reason. I don't know. But I just kept noticing when we would hit it with speed, we would bust the line, or we'd put them on the back foot, and if we could link a few of those together, we'd score.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we should put Kurvoli back on the boot. I don't know. Maybe there's something that we've decided against, but yeah, I think maybe just Valentini was off that day or whatever. I don't know. He's had some really big kicks that he's made, clutch kicks, but Kurvoli, I don't know. He's like, I mean, he killed it for us, like, during the World Cup and pre-World Cup. Talking about national rugby, the Flying Fijians. So I just feel like we should utilize his boot, but maybe there's a reason for not. But yeah, it was exciting to see the guys win again. It's fun.
Last game this Friday.
Yeah, last game is Friday when we're in Suva.
Yeah.
So the game is on Saturday, or on Friday at 7.
Yeah.
7, yeah. So we'll be at the CMF church at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, they have in the conference.
Yeah.
It's going
Yeah.
on right now.
I think like time is coming for us to do stuff with Ndrua, so I'm not worried about missing this game.
Yeah, yeah.
I think there'll be exciting things that will come up. I guess it's just like I kind of take it as a sign or something like that. Like, okay, this is not, because it's very frustrating for me to be in Suva and not be able to go to the game. Trust me. But it's like, okay, just this is not the time. So I'm like, okay, all good. So, but if you guys aren't going to the game and you wanted something to do, CMF Church, my friend Phil is coming from Australia, and he'll be speaking at 6:05. 6:05 or 6? 6, eh?
Yeah.
At 6. And I'll even show you guys the epic poster of my buddy Phil, who's going to be speaking. Latin America night. There we go.
Latin American.
Latin American night.
night, eh?
Starts at 6 p.m. Guest speaker, Pastor Phil Brake. Legendary. It's impressive. 35th anniversary. This advice stuff?
Yeah, put on some Reddit advice for you guys.
Okay. Oh, for us.
Yeah, you
Ah,
can
shit.
you can read one.
Should I read this first one? Which one is the best one?
I don't know. Well, go through it and see which one. I just put the foil.
New wife doesn't like my daughter. I've been with my wife for about 5 years now, since my kid was 10. My daughter is now 15 and not doing well in school. She's failing a few classes and can get an attitude at times. When she doesn't have an attitude, she's friendly, and she is passing some classes with A's and B's, like math, biology. She just doesn't like PE. I've tried restricting her phone and giving her money incentives for raising her grades, but nothing has worked. My new wife absolutely dislikes her and has indicated she needs to go live with her mom full-time or she's leaving. New wife is basically saying it's her or my kid. I get my kid's needs work, and I'm trying to get her to do chores and not have an attitude. I've made appointments with a therapist to try and see if he can help, but my new wife isn't having it. She doesn't even want to try anymore. My kid is only 15, and I'm not going to throw her out or give her to her mom full time. I'm contemplating divorcing my new wife. Is this unreasonable? Oh. Well, it just seems like this woman is unreasonable. I don't know what the case is of this guy's, like why did he break up with this lady in the first place? So obviously you're always in an awkward position when things don't go the way they're supposed to go, like being with the mother of your children. So you're kind of always starting on the back foot there, hoping for the best. But yeah, I think you have a responsibility to your kid. And if you don't feel like it's safe for her to go, like you can be the one leaving your wife, like you can't do that, but I think you put yourself in this position, and so I think you got to play with the cards that you've been dealt. And so if she leaves, then I guess like that is what it is. But I mean, I think you should do everything in your power to try to fight for both, you know? Like I think, yeah, it's just hard when God's not in the picture, you know, in a marriage, because then it's kind of like everything's an option. Nothing's kind of off the table. Like, or should I just divorce? It's like, well, no, you should not divorce. Like, that's not. In my mind, I'm like, that's just not an option. Like, you can fight and you can, make up, but like, divorce is not an option. Unless, of course, like you're getting beat or something like that. But yeah, I think you should try to fight for this thing. Yeah.
Want to read one more?
Sure.
The last one.
The last one. Does anyone have any advice on getting up earlier? Hi everyone, I've tried to get up for work every day around 6:30 to 6:40, but I really would love to be the type of person to get up at 6 or even 6:15. I have a really hard time getting up when my alarm goes off. I go to sleep around 11, sometimes 10:30 on a good night. I have to leave for work at 7, so I try to rush my morning, but usually end up a few minutes late to work. Advice, please. Really hard time getting up. You just have to get up. I don't know what to say. Like,
How do you do it?
How do I do it?
Yeah.
It just sucks every morning. I just know that like after 10 minutes, like it'll be better. That's all. And like I never get back. Like this morning, I went for a run. I never get back from my run and be like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. That was stupid. But like if I sleep in, I'll often be like, oh, that was stupid. I should have just gone for the run. You know? Like the only way I can do it some mornings is just to think about like how much I'll hate myself if I don't do it. Yeah. Because like there's that saying like the hardest step in a marathon is the first one. And so it's the same thing when you do workouts or when you get up in the morning. It's like the hardest part about getting up out of bed is like taking the first step out of bed. After that, like the steps to the bathroom, to the brushing your teeth, to putting on your clothes, like all those steps get easier and easier and easier. And then you put on your shoes to go for your run, and it's like this is getting easier. And then before you know it, you're out and you're awake, and like you're just thinking about how much you suck at running. And so like I don't know, you just have to do it. That's it. You just have to do it. Like you have to think about like what am I looking to get out of life? Like would I be happier if I was fitter, if I was stronger, if I was not so rushed for work, if I could spend more time in my Bible in the morning? Like is it worth it? And then make sure that you go to that place when you wake up like this is worth it for my family, for my health, for my relationship with Jesus, for whatever it is. Like this is worth it. And so I think you don't care enough about yourself to do the hard thing. Yeah.
Just a few comments from the first advice.
Right.
Protect your child first. Make sure he feels safe and loved. Conversation needs to be had with stepmom to find the root cause, and then set boundaries accordingly.
Yeah, that's probably a more thorough answer. Yeah.
Second one is I think it's easy when you have or find a reason to wake up. It adds meaning to your day.
Yeah. I think a lot of us wake up and it's like, work. It's like, I have to go and deal with these people. But like, the attitude of waking up should be like, what a gift to have another day. That should actually be, and like I know it sounds like overrated and like that it's just not the reality for a lot of us who wake up in the mornings, but like that should be truly the way that we wake up, because there's some people who will go to sleep tonight in Fiji, in your community, that will not wake up tomorrow morning. And the fact that we just get to keep waking up every morning is actually crazy awesome. And I think that is one place I go to very quickly when I'm on my morning runs or doing a workout. It's like, whoa, like what a gift it is just to be alive. Like, I don't know why, it's just like there's something that triggers in me when right before I start running. I walk for probably 200 meters here, and then I'll start running. And in that 200 meters, I'll be like, okay, this doesn't suck. Like, this is a gift. And then I'll just start going. And then like I'll forget about it and then get stuck into like the grind and everything. But like just to have that moment of like thankfulness is like so healthy for us. And I think that mindset, like it's not a curse, it's a gift. Like so when your alarm goes off, it's like it's not a bad thing. Like the alternative to waking up is not waking up. So I'll take the waking up, even if it's early and it's not fun in the beginning. Yeah. Sweet.
Thank you.
Awesome, guys.
You won't be doing live on Friday.
Yeah, I guess not, because we'll be in Suva
Yeah,
at this time on Friday.
because I won't be back in time.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we'll do it on Saturday or something like that. We'll see. But we'll throw it up. But anyways, we'll throw it up on our stories if we're going to do it on a different day. But love and appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for commenting and hanging out. And yeah, this was fun. Appreciate this. Appreciate you guys and your support. And if you guys got questions or you guys, need some advice, then just shoot us a message. And we can always talk about it here anonymously. Right? Okay. Love you guys lots. And we'll see you guys on the next live. Peace.
All right.